Hello, I'm Bertrand Coiffier, professor of hematology in the University of Lyon, and I'm specialized for lymphoma treatment during the last 30 years. I've presented a case of a patient with follicular lymphoma that have received that have been treated with R-CHOP because he has a large tumor bulk in the abdomen at time of diagnosis. And after R-CHOP, the patient was proposed maintenance, and the patient progressed during maintenance. So it's a not frequent case because usually most of these patients progress after the maintenance, but not during the maintenance. But for the interest of discussion, I've chosen a case of patients that progress during maintenance, and because there are more questions to be discussed. So the first question is what to do for this young patient. He's 56 years old at time of progressions, and he has been treated with R-CHOP, so you could not do a new regimen with doxorubicin. So we have to use other regimen, but the problem is the plan. Is just chemotherapy sufficient, or do we need to move on more intensive chemotherapy with autologous transplant? And I think this is a typical case of a patient that is refractory to rituximab because he progressed during rituximab, and also a little refractory to chemotherapy because most of the patients that are refractory to rituximab are also refractory to chemotherapy. So in this young patient with early relapse, what I propose usually to these patients is a salvage regimen followed by autologous transplant. There is no standard for treating these patients, and there are several physicians that think that for this type of patients that are refractory and relapse very early on after a good treatment, you have to go on with more intensive treatment than palliation with just new drugs or new chemotherapy, new combination with without any transplant. So this is what we do in the department for this type of patient, and the success is good. We, as other, found that this patient that respond to salvage chemotherapy and be transplanted after that have a median follow-up, have a median progression-free survival of 7 to 10 years. So it's not so bad for such a patient that is refractory. Second line therapy, it's really the options depend of two things, depend of the age of the patient at the time of the relapse, and also at the duration of the first response. If the duration is long, it's not the same problem as if the duration is short. And in this case, it was a short duration. But if you have a patient with a long duration that is relapse 4, 5, or 6 years after the first line chemotherapy, the prognosis of such a patient is certainly better, and you may do a lot of different things, and probably you don't have to go on for salvage plus auto-transplant. You may do another regimen with rituximab, like bendamustine rituximab, one other type of chemotherapy if you prefer another type. You may even do rituximab alone. In this case, for a patient with long duration first relapse, the median progression-free of rituximab alone is more than 1 year. You may do a single agent, single new agent, targeted agent like idelalisib or other agents that are currently explored in follicular lymphoma. So there are a lot of different possibilities. But for a patient that with a short duration of first line, after first line treatment, and or a patient like this one that progress during rituximab maintenance, these two things witnesses for refractoriness to chemotherapy. And in this is indication for me that you need to do more than just another regimen or another single agent that may have activity. Some physicians that prefer not to use rituximab because they say that the patient have already received it and progress during rituximab treatment. Myself, I think that rituximab add to chemotherapy, and in the objective or salvaging the patient with autologous transplant, that is to harvest the stem cells in blood, I will prefer to use rituximab a second time, because I think that the quality of the second response will be better, and you may also have some in vivo purge. The type of salvage regimen in such a patient that is with early relapse is not really important. There are several regimens that you may use that have been described, that have been used in the literature. What is very important is to reach a complete response before transplant, or a response as good as possible before transplant. That is a very good partial response with minimal residual tumor. I am not using allogeneic transplant in first relapse patient with follicular lymphoma. The difference between allogeneic transplant and autologous transplant is that the fact that there are treatment-related mortality with allogeneic transplant, even if not very important in the very good groups, but more than with autologous transplant. So what we do usually is for the first transplant, we use autologous transplant. For patients that relapse after autologous transplant, we use allogeneic transplant. Only for patients with persisting blood infiltration or a very large marrow infiltration, it may be difficult to harvest stem cells without contamination with the lymphoma cells, and in this case we discuss allogeneic transplant as the first transplant. At time of autotransplant, the conditioning regimen that is used is nearly 90% of the people is a BEAM regimen with bendamustine, etoposide, aracitin, and melphalan. This is something that is not proven. To do more after autologous transplant in patients with follicular lymphoma, it's certainly possible. The question is that maintenance has been described in first line, maintenance with rituximab has been described in first line and in relapsing patients, second or third relapse, to add some benefit for the patient after chemotherapy. And there are also one study that show that in first relapse, that after transplant, you may do also rituximab maintenance and have a better progression-free survival. So in this case, the patient has progressed during transplant, during maintenance. So personally, I will not use rituximab maintenance a second time because you have already progressed on this treatment, and so this is a demonstration that this treatment was not very associated with a very good efficacy in this patient. There are a lot of new drugs for B-cell lymphoma that are developed. Most of them have shown a good efficacy in CLL patients or in mantle cell lymphoma, some of them in follicular lymphoma or other indolent lymphoma, and less in more aggressive lymphoma like diffuse large B-cell lymphoma. So such a patient with follicular lymphoma may be treated with a BTK inhibitor. There are 2 or 3 that are in development. The first one, ibrutinib, has been associated with good response in relapsing or refractory patients, patient with follicular lymphoma. Idelalisib, it's a PI3 kinase inhibitor that has been also associated with a good response in this type of patients. You have also EBT199, that is an inhibitor of BCL2, and that has also been associated with good response, and so on. So there are a lot of new drugs targeting the different pathway within the lymphoma cells, and that have activity.